spent in a miserable way.
U.S. News opioid crisis lawsuit claims Sackler family disregarded safety, opioid addiction in Purdue. Desktop notifications are on. Get breaking news alerts from The Washington Post. Turn on desktop notifications. Members of the family that owns Purdue Pharma, the company that created the powerful opioid painkiller OxyContin, directed sales representatives to push extremely high doses of the drug and later tried to get involved in opioid addiction treatment as a way to boost profits, according to a lawsuit. Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey alleges the Sackler family, which controls Purdue, engaged in frequent acts of deception and misconduct to make as much money as possible, even as OxyContin sparked the nation's opioid crisis and its staggering toll of addiction and death. In parts of the lawsuit, Healey paints a portrait of insatiable greed and disregard for the suffering that the company's main product had caused. 8 people in a single family made the choices that caused much of the opioid epidemic, the lawsuit contends. Healey claims the Sacklers pushed for more patients to be on higher doses of opioids for long periods of time. In one email, millions of dollars were not enough. They wanted billions. Purdue spokesman Robert Josephson said Healey's lawsuit is part of a continuing effort to single out Purdue for the opioid crisis, and the idea that the company only tried to push extremely high doses of OxyContin is a fictional narrative. Steve Miller, the chair of Purdue's board of directors, said members of the Sackler family are good people and their history of philanthropy is truly admirable. The miscarriage of Healey initially released the complaint last month with significant parts that were kept out of public view. From Massachusetts, while much about the Sacklers' role in the opioid epidemic has previously emerged, the lawsuit uses internal company emails, reports and board minutes to detail the Sacklers' conduct from 2007 to 2018. The lawsuit argues that the Sacklers falsely blamed patients for the dangers of opioids, pushed them on hold. In 2007, Purdue paid $600 million in fines and its executives pleaded guilty to federal criminal charges for claiming their product was less addictive than other painkillers. After the court judgment, the company returned to some of those same practices, the lawsuit claims, this time with the core of its efforts centered around an ever-growing army of sales representatives who promoted OxyContin by plying prescribers with lunches and gifts. In October 2015, Purdue employed more than 700 sales representatives, the lawsuit says. Each was driven new. Other marketing efforts included persuading a Tufts University program to teach 2 unbranded Purdue curriculums in 2014. The Sackler's head behind the Salesforce effort was Richard Sackler, who is portrayed in the lawsuit as a relentless, hyper-demanding tyrant obsessed with driving up growth by any means necessary. After 1 week of prescriptions in 2011 doubled Purdue's original forecast, he wrote to the sales staff, "I had hoped for better results." When a new Purdue nut as overdose deaths linked to prescription opioids soared, Purdue looked the other way, the Attorney General says. In 2000,
raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking, the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.